debut episode of This Week in Esports. We're coming to you live from the Microsoft campus here in lovely Redmond, Washington. And we're showcasing Best on Mixer. And I told Drinkwater co-host Ricari Austin's going to tell you why.
Ready to go? All right, so we've got a couple of things for this stream. First of which is FTL, which is faster than light, a unique protocol for streaming at sub-second latency. And second, we've got interactivity, where viewers don't just watch, they actively participate with what's happening on screen.
Exactly, and that is one of the many things that makes this show just a little different. My name is Kate Yeager. This, of course, is Ricari Austin. So let's talk about esports. Nowadays, there's a lot to cover in the scene, and since this show is for you, we thought you would get to decide what we talk about via the voting options you're going to see soon above the chat window. Muy importante.
Yep, we're going back to that interactivity bit. We don't get to choose the topics we discuss. There's a long list, but you're going to be doing the work for us. We just get to tell you what you want to hear about.
It's true. Now, we only have 30 minutes because that's the way the world works. So make sure you make your vote count. And if you want to hear your favorite esports news, you're going to have to vote.
Before we get into the segments that we have for this week, we're going to start this show and every other show from here on out with a little treat we like to call Clip of the Week. Now, while this clip is rolling, get those votes in, and let's just jump on in, yeah?
Jump on into it. And actually, this one's an oldie but a goodie. This is Nated, back when he was with Team Panda, freaking out after qualifying for the 2017 Halo World Championships. Now, what's important to note here is that Nated just recently, the 21st, that's 4 days ago, folks, he just retired from esports play. So maybe we'll see him again, maybe we won't, but at this point, this is one of the most passionate, fun wins that we have ever seen. And why, Ricari?
Well, I mean, it's a hell of a way to go out, but he qualified for a chance to win $1 million, a share of $1 million at the Halo World Championships, and I don't know, how would you react in a situation like this?
I would probably do what he did, which is throw over some office chairs.
Well, I feel like if you took home Halo World Championship money, you could buy a couple of office chairs, yes?
I wonder how many office chairs equals $1 million.
You a math major? I'm not.
No,
I'll just tell you that right now. But congrats to Nated and team, who, of course, had plenty of reason to celebrate.
It's true.
It's just
There,
it's
let's
good
see
to
the different
see.
angle. Here it is again. Oh, you gotta love that passionate esports player. I mean, come on. How often
Hugs
do you
all
get to
around,
see
right?
that? Just hug.
Usually at events, you tap it
just,
out so you don't
just
get
cool.
sick, but this is a different level.
Oh, I thought it was because you were so cool.
Oh, well, that too.
Yeah, speaking of cool, let's talk about what exactly we're going to be. What did you all vote for? And it looks like,
we've got Gears of War,
we got
yes.
Gears of War.
That's fine. I'll go ahead and jump into this one. So the Gears of War 4 Paris Open occurred at the beginning of May with the top pro and amateur teams that Europe had to offer. 12 pro teams were in attendance, such as Team Envious, Epsilon Esports, and E United. These teams were competing for a prize pool of $100,000.
Not too shabby.
Spanning over 3 days, the event employed the usual pool play into championship bracket format to ensure we saw as many high-quality matches as possible. We have to stop for just a sec and highlight one of the teams who made it out of the open bracket and into the money for multiple events, Fire and Ice. Now, let's just take a sec to talk about this for a brief moment, because it's one thing to enter into sort of a pro-am situation.
It's already hard to be a pro. Let's
but
be
then
fair.
you win that. Like, oh, that's ridiculous. So big shout out to Fire and Ice, who made it out of the amateur side. And like, you do it more than once. It definitely solidifies your presence in the scene, yes?
Yeah, I'll tell you that much. Absolutely. Now, other top storylines from the event, which you can read about on gears.gg, included teams like Enigma 6 entering this event with a different roster from the previous event, still claiming third place.
That's like a line change before an event.
That's
I don't
just
think I'm
like-
ready for that. You know how much practice has to
musical
go
chairs.
in? Oh, it's ridiculous.
Additionally, other prominent teams like Ghost Gaming and Echo Fox dropping in the standings.
Rick Fox can't be happy about that one, yeah?
No, he can't.
No, not at all. So we recommend you watch matches from day 3 of the tournament when all the teams were playing on top of their game. But boy, those final matches absolutely lived up to the hype. It was Optic Gaming versus Team Splice. Now, in the finals, Optic came in with 2 straight wins, but Splice held together and matched them with 2 wins of their own. In classic back-and-forth action, Optic bunkered down, winning 4 straight rounds, putting them just 1 point away from a win. But don't call it a comeback. Splice caught second wind. They took 2 games of their own. Just wasn't enough. Right? I said don't call it a comeback. I really meant that. It was not a comeback. Optic took the next round, winning the Open and $40,000. But ready for this?
Yes, legit.
When it comes to Optic and Gears, do you know how much they've won recently?
Like number or?
It's like up here, I feel like. Let's say 80% of the time, Optic has won. That is ridiculous.
That's a pretty good percentage. That's worth betting on.
What would you say you're batting? 800. I'll help you out with that one.
Nobody likes you, Ricari. The next event is taking place in 2 weeks in the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, which will serve as the season finals and boast in a prize pool of $250K. Expect teams like Splice and Allegiance to get their revenge on and try to close the circuit with a first-place finish. I feel like most teams are going to go into this looking for a first-place finish, right?
You know, if you're not, you're doing something wrong.
That is true.
But, you know, maybe some people, they enjoy the competition. The participation, yeah? No, that's not
No,
it. No, you
I
want
think
first.
That's how Esports.
Now, before we move on, we have to shine a light on one of the players from Optic. That, of course, being Justin Kenny Bounce Kenny of Team Optic Gaming. 23 years young. Well, I don't even want to think back to the shenanigans that happened when I was 23. I definitely wasn't a professional gamer, and I definitely wasn't on Optic. That's for sure. Yeah. But he was a driving force behind Optic's win, and just all-around good guy.
You're at top of the top.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
So coming from his hometown of Southbury, Connecticut, which I'm not entirely sure if that's how you say it, but that's how I'm gonna. The previous team envious player is looking to add as many wins to his roster as he can under the Optic banner. It's hard for me to say there. Check out the Optic Kenny profile on youtube.com/Gears of War to learn more about this awesome individual and cheer him on at the Las Vegas event in a couple of weeks.
All right, you ready to move on to the next segment? We're getting through this, right?
We are getting through this, guys.
First
This is
show,
very
I'm
exciting. We've been practicing for so long.
We've been practicing for a while, and we're doing great. So you had the options to vote on Clash Royale, Madden, Forza, and StarCraft 2, and we are going to jump into some Forza.
Looks like you want to
This
talk.
is crazy because we rehearsed, and this isn't what came up.
It's so strange.
It's
Oh,
that
that's
interactivity.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you guys are going to choose, and you know what? I'll let you lead off this bit.
That sounds good, Ricari. The Forza Racing Championship New York City Invitational thrilled crowds last month at the Microsoft Store in NYC, which you saw in the earlier Mixer chat and stream. This event was billed as the Season 3 preview tournament, and if this is a preview, we've got some exciting upsets coming. Follow up on this Season 1 and Season 2 wins. Forza RC champion Lage showed strong on the first day of racing, but slipped further behind as race continued. That gave way to his Esports NCAR's teammate, Lightning, to take and hold first place in pole position by the end of the weekend and provided Lage with his first loss in his Forza Racing Championship career.
It's got to happen at some point, right?
You know, it was
Nobody
law of
leaves
large numbers,
perfect.
so, you know, like, well done for going this far. And, like, loss, he only got second, so I think it's fine.
It's like multiple years and one.
Very impressive.
Well, as with previous seasons, this year's program is run by Gfinity and is open to anyone who thinks that they have what it takes to compete on the grand stage. It's definitely not me. This stage is really grand this season as the finals allow competitors to compete in a race called Official Endurance Esports category, which this year is being put on as part of the infamous French racing tournament, 24 Hours at Le Mans. This is a big deal considering all the major car manufacturers are involved with this race and are slowly embracing the world of competitive gaming. Can't think of a better way to introduce these brands to esports than by just showcasing their skill right alongside the real race car drivers, right?
Exactly. So looking at the current standings, Team Cars currently owns the top 4 spots in the hot lap competition with Lage, Lightning, B-Box, and Davey Skills in the top spots. Competitor Car Harmonic put on an amazing show in the North American Finals, sweeping first place in all 3 of the weekend racers. Amazingly, though, and this is, I think, the headline, unsigned competitor, Call 9339, the same kind of handles we all had, holds second on the leaderboard. Tune in for week 4 of racing this weekend, then on to the 24 Hours of Le Mans, where the esports competition will take place right alongside this prestigious race. Now, for those of you interested in learning more about the game, we'll be showcasing the Forza New York Invitational this Sunday starting at 10 a.m. on this channel, Mixer Channel 1, followed by the week 4 broadcast of Forza Racing Championship.
Wonderful. Are you gonna compete? Are you gonna enter?
No,
Anyone can enter.
Why would I do that? I love Forza, but I would get crushed, just eviscerated.
With that kind of attitude, yes. You've got to believe, and you got to play to win.
It's fair. He makes a good point.
All right, so we've got our next segment ready to go. Your choices were Clash Royale, Madden, Halo, and StarCraft 2.
And they wanted to talk Halo.
That's a big surprise.
Can you blame them? I cannot.
All right, you want to go with this one as well?
Let's talk about it. HCS Daytona last weekend kicked off the first HCS LAN of the summer 2017 season. Now, the pros were out in full force. We're talking Optic Gaming. We're talking Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid. So the open bracket was going alongside the pros, which meant anyone, like the Forza Racing Championship, could win the Daytona Beach event. We have to highlight some teams like Oxygen Supremacy, Era Eternity, Wise Gaming, and Doze Esports. Now, they made it the furthest in the tournament after going through the open bracket. Not an easy feat to do. And lest we forget, old school player Tizonic, who won the FFA tournament on Sunday in convincing fashion.
Moving along to the pro teams, the result that shocked everyone. I mean, absolutely everyone.
It's always a shock when this happens.
Well, that's true.
'Cause
Came
it
in the
doesn't
form
ever
of
happen.
Optic Gaming. Have we talked about them at all?
I don't know.
We've heard about them once or twice.
Yes, I think so.
They are the de facto #1 team in the scene, and get this, they lost to their rivals, the #2 seeded Team Envious. Now, Team Envious, the underdog favorites, proved that the grind was not in vain, taking down Optic Gaming after not one, but 2 7-game series in the grand finals.
No
And
fighters.
that's real easy to do, right?
Sure, I
Absolutely
do it all the
easy.
time.
2 7-game series? No, that is no easy feat. And that is the
Yeah.
team, like, you take
Especially
them
when you consider the team who won both of the $1 million World Championships was, kind of on top at that point.
That's a good point. While we should recommend watching matches from day 1 and 2, day 3 is where the highlights are, yeah?
Amen. Now, HCS Daytona was the only first Halo LAN of the summer 2017 season. And if you're itching to see more competitive Halo, have no fear because HCS Pro League is back. HCS Pro League this year is back again in the NA and EU, but let's focus on NA for right now. NA Pro League pits the top 8 teams in the region against each other over several weeks of play. One of the teams to highlight out of those 8 has to be the team that almost didn't make it to the table at all, earning their way with a win in the last chance qualifier and claiming that last NA spot. That, of course, Team Splice. Players Doo-Boo Boo-Boo, Boo-Boo Doo-Boo.
Boo-boo doo-boo, that voodoo that you do, boo-boo doo-boo.
You know what? I bet he hasn't heard that before. Shotzi, Shooter, Renegade make up the roster. And new and old fans alike of competitive Halo will no doubt be rooting for these guys on as they play matches on select Wednesdays and Thursdays this summer. So something to tune in while you're out of school or, wanting to watch some competitive Halo. You can catch all the Halo action on mixer.com/Halo and twitch.tv/Halo and go to proleague.com/Halo for even more details on this season.
Now, you said it 3 times in this last segment, but
I
I'm
say
curious.
slash.
Oh, you knew where I was going.
I
So is
know.
it slash or whack? I'm going to say whack when I get to
He
my
can
bits.
say whack, I say slash. If you want to talk about in the chat which one you go for, whack or slash, feel free. We'll take a look.
Now, you guys have been voting, and we want to remind you that throughout the entirety of this show, not just today, but
Nope.
every time we do this,
Every
you have the chance to pick what segments we are going to talk about. So you voted between Clash Royale, which we've heard a few times, Madden, Street Fighter 5, and
Guys,
StarCraft
Clash
2,
Royale.
and we've got...
Oh, we've got StarCraft 2, but that's okay. Everybody's a StarCraft 2 fan. Here we go. DreamHack Austin, which is also what I call Ricari from time to time, concluded a few weekends ago, and everyone's favorite RTS game, StarCraft 2, was in attendance. With $100,000 on the line, nearly 100 competitors went through 3 group stages to find the final 16 players who were worthy of the money, and more importantly, perhaps, the WCS points. Players like Snoot, Major, and Showtime were able to make it to the round of 16 and showed everyone why they're still monsters to be afraid of. These are the same players who made it through the online qualifiers, but it was Neeb, the Protoss, I can never say Protoss, I always want to say Protoss, and Nurchio the Zerg. Protoss versus Zerg. This is a Clash of the Titans who survived all the way to the final round. Now, these 2 competitors duked it out in a 6-game series, which we recommend should be the VOD match you're watching. And Nurchio brought back the good old Void Ray Strat to bring him the win. Quick public service announcement, though. WCS is littered with opportunity for a lot of people, I would say anyone, but you have to be good at StarCraft 2, to make a name for themselves. So if you want your chance at greatness, be sure to check out wcs.starcraft2.com for more information.
You know, I'm noticing a
Get ready to
theme
play.
here. I'm noticing a theme that there's open registrations everywhere, right?
Not everywhere, but there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Sure.
Everywhere for every type of genre.
That's
How about
fair.
that? How about
That's
that?
fair.
You can find a game to compete in, just not us.
I think what's important is that they're looking for talented esports players.
There's a lot of
A
commons to
lot
be
of
won.
talented esports players out there. Or are there? I don't know.
I think you're one. I think you're like low-key one, and you
I,
just don't
I'm
want to tell
lulling you all
anybody.
into a false sense of security.
All right, so we're ready to move on to our next segment. And again, we've had some voting options that may seem
Guys,
familiar.
Is Clash Royale not going to make it?
Clash Royale,
Royale's not-
Madden, Street Fighter, and League of Legends.
Aren't you curious why Clash Royale's on there? I know I am. I mean, come on, but let's talk
There's that low key.
Let's talk Street Fighter. Ricari, hit us
Let's
up.
go ahead and jump into it. One of the newest leagues on the block, E-League dove into Street Fighter V for the first time back in March.
Love E-League.
And the E-League Street Fighter V Invitational Playoffs are set to begin mañana, as you so eloquently put it yesterday. 32 of the top Street Fighter V players from around the world were included in this tournament. Players from Brazil, Japan, France, and South Korea made this an absolute international affair.
Okay, so the fighting game community superstars such as Justin Wong, Tokido, and GamerB either qualified through the Capcom Pro Tour placings or received direct invites. Now, for the past 2 months, fans have been tuning into some great matches and commentary from the Turner Sports crew, and we love that that company has this magnitude that is involved in the esports scene. I'm a big fan of Turner, and it's not just because I worked there for a little bit.
Not at all. Not at all. So the original 32 players are now narrowed down to the top 8. Punk and Momochi made it out of their groups, with Momochi taking down some solid contenders along the way with characters such as Ibuki and Ken. Momochi is a Japan native, and is currently sponsored by Team Echo Fox and is one of the players favored to win the entire tournament, as he won the 2014 Capcom Cup and 2015 Evo for Ultra Street Fighter.
He's got a pretty good resume coming into this and a definite competitor for sure. Now, out of Group B, crowd favorites PR, Balrog, and Diago advanced their way into the playoffs. Diago considered to be one of the best Street Fighter players ever. Here's what's great. He made a change-up by playing Guile in the tournament instead of his regular Ryu. So
now, we're going to make a change-up, too, because I'm going to tell you it's Daigo.
You know what? I knew I was going to do that. It's Daigo.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
I think it's the A that threw me. You know, there it is.
It's tough.
Now, PR Balrog, who clinched first place in Group B by defeating Daigo, is also a great contender to win it all. Let's see if he and his Balrog can take down Punk in the first playoff match.
See, this is not only a esports show, it's a redemption time.
We're learning.
Yeah, we're going.
You know what?
And you guys are here to watch it happen.
Live TV.
The remaining players to advance out of the Group C were Feudo and Wolfkrone. And out of Group D are Phenom and, remind me how to say this one, because I have trouble with this one. Xiao-Hai, there we go. These are the players who have repeatedly made top 8 finishes in other tournaments, and all that means is we're in for a really special treat when the playoffs start tomorrow.
Now, yeah, sorry. I was going to jump in.
No, please, no.
Oh, thank you. We recommend checking out the semifinals and finals for Groups A through D on twitch.tv/eLeagueTV and youtube.com/eLeague to see how they all went down. Remember, you can catch live playoffs coverage starting at 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow across live.eleague.com and the Twitch and YouTube eLeague channels. But wait!
Is there more? Yes, there is. If you can't make that, then you should definitely tune into the semifinals and grand finals beginning live, not online, but on TBS at 10 p.m. Eastern. You get great production value goodness from the Turner team, and we can't wait to discuss when this all goes down on next week's show. Or not. I mean, yeah, if you vote for it, like it came in this day, but we're still good to go.
I haven't gotten my Clash Royales yet, so like here we are.
It's coming, and I know you want it.
I do, because it's esports. Come on. But you know what? In league of that, that's actually not even what we're talking about. But in lieu of that, let's talk about one of my favorites. Which
Clash
is what
Royale.
You wanted to talk about. No,
okay, all right.
Counter-Strike. Now, one of the top tournament programs in the scene, Intel Extreme Masters, held their first ever LAN in Sydney, Australia this month. Hosted by ESL, there were 8 teams battling for victory over the 5 days of tournament play, vying for their share of a $200,000 prize pool. 4 teams made it to the semifinals of the tournament. Also got to go visit Sydney. That must be nice. Optic Gaming and Astralis took home 3rd and 4th place, respectively. And then it came down to FaZe Clan versus CSGO Darlings, SK Gaming, in a best-of-5 final. Now, SK kept it strong by taking the first 2 maps on Train and Cash. SK lost it with map 3 on Inferno, but they were able to take it back on Overpass, sealing their win and the $100,000 prize. Love Taco! Counter-Strike is one of the more established esports out there, and I personally can't wait until the next major tournament at DreamHack Summer happening in the middle of June. Oh, yeah.
If you can't wait that long, you are in luck. Next weekend on June 3rd and June 4th, the ESL Pro League Season 5 Finals will be going down at the Verizon Theater in Dallas, Texas. Teams such as Cloud9, Optic Gaming, SK Gaming, Team Liquid, and other EU and NA teams will fight for their share of, wait for it.
Yeah, get your fingers ready for what?
$1 million. Like, small chunk of change. Yeah. Group play for the tournament kicks off on Tuesday, May 30th, and you can join casters such as Golden Boy Moses and Henry G over at youtube.com/whack ESL CS.
Killing me every time.
Yes, let's go.
Killing me every time.
You ready to move? You ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
This gotta
Although
be it,
now
right?
we had a chance once again. Clash Royale gets Whatever, it's fine. I was gonna
Kids
say
left
wait,
behind, but they
it's
voted, so
fine.
this is what they want to see.
That's
yeah?
true, guys. And you know what?
It's
I
not
can't
about
deny
us.
it because, quite frankly, I'm a big fan of this as well, and that would be Overwatch. Overwatch and their highly anticipated launch of the Overwatch World League, so high that I can't wait, is coming closer and closer. But earlier this week, Blizzard announced Overwatch Contenders, a way for those up-and-coming players in the scene to catch a chance to get noticed. Starting on June 3rd, anyone in the NA and EU regions can sign up to prove they are one of the top 8 teams in the region and compete for the chance to win their share of $50,000. And that's only phase 1. So the tournament is split into 2 seasons. Season 0, which makes up the open qualifiers, and then Season 1, that makes up the group and playoff stages. Now, the top teams from Season 0 will fill out the Season 1 roster list, divided in the NA and EU regions. Boy, that's a lot to keep track of, but it's, trust me.
Phase 1 is
phase
part
one.
0.
Exactly.
Good. I got
Obviously.
it. Easy. Done.
Yeah. The top 6 NA teams from the open qualifiers will join pro teams Envy and Rogue for 6 weeks of round-robin play and will eventually compete at an offline final for an additional $100,000, Ricari.
That's a good chunk of change. Now, over in the EU, the top 8 teams from the qualifiers will also have their own bracket and prize pool for $100K. Overwatch Contenders seems like a great way to keep the community interested until the Overwatch World League launches, and we're excited to see what teams show up.
Please launch the Overwatch World League soon. I don't want to see any more things to do
You
with
sounded
rumors.
so upset by
There's
that.
so many rumors.
So head on over to www.overwatchcontenders.com for more information and a breakdown of the tournament. All right, we've got another chance.
You got another
Do you think
chance.
it's in there?
Let's see all you guys. Let's see if it is. It's not.
You had the choice of Clash Royale, Madden, Smash Brothers, and League of Legends.
In fairness, if there's a League of Legends versus Clash Royale, I'm just more curious about the Clash Royale. But since we are going to League of Legends, let's talk. After weeks of competition, the 2017 League of Legends Mid-Season Invitational is crowned a victor. Only the top 4 teams make it into the knockout stage, and they were SK Telecom 1, Flash Wolves, Team We, and G2 Esports. Now, if you're keeping track at home, that's 3 teams from Asia and 1 team holding it down for the West. In match 1 of the semifinals, Flash Wolves took on SKT, and while the Wolves put up a good fight, and no one's going to disagree with that, SK did emerge with the win. Match 2, Team We went up against G2 Esports, eager to redeem themselves. G2 powered through, taking the win and putting themselves into the final against SK Telecom. In that final match, G2 started out strong, but not strong enough. The SKT guys, I get SK and SKT, you know it again, are no strangers to success. They've taken home 3 League of Legends World Championships in 2013, 2015, and 2016, and the MSI was obviously no different as they took down the EU team to claim the title. Now we'll get to watch all 4 of these teams in action later this year as they move to become the top 4 seeds in the world's group stage. And I did not give Ricari even a moment to pause.
That's
but
fine.
I
got to catch up. No, you still got this.
And I'll finish it out by saying keep it locked to LOLesports.com if you want to keep up to date with League of Legends action.
I let you finish that one because there was no whack in the URL. That's why. Otherwise, I was jumping in there. All right, so we're ready to move on to our next segment. Spoiler! It was Clash, Madden, Smash Brothers, and Street Fighter, and couldn't you believe it? Clash Royale. There's a reason why she's so excited.
Sorry, guys.
This is a game you might not have expected to see pop up on an esports show, though we've been mentioning it the entire time. Clash Royale, yes, that game you see Kate playing on the bus with her fidget spinner, is officially making its debut in esports with the announcement of their own championship.
It's hard to do the fidget spinner and the cell phone all
But
at the
you
same
make
time.
it look so easy.
You know? What of it? For their first spring season, the Crown Championship opened to everyone over the age of 16 who had a level 8 account and was a resident of Europe, North America, or Latin America. Now, battle started May 11th and will continue through June.
Phase 2 is actually going on right now as we speak.
Right now.
Ready for this? There are 8 tournaments in this phase. Each one has 1,024 players. And like Highlander, there can only be 1. So imagine whittling down from 1,024 down to 1.
That's a lot
How
of
do you
whittling.
do it?
That's a lot of whittling.
You do it great, right?
There can be only one.
So these players will compete until just one champion emerges from each tournament, like we mentioned. Those Elite 8 will then go head-to-head in a battle, or a Clash Royale, for the first ever spring champion.
Okay, now, if you're bummed about missing the sign-up, don't worry. They plan to do 2 seasons a year, one in the spring and one in the fall. And with over $1 million in prizes to claim in this first year alone, you might want to keep your eye on this one and upcoming esport as the mobile games start to get even more recognition.
So we kept talking about there's something for everyone, right?
There's something for everyone.
Kate, are you over 16?
I'm over 16.
And ready to play, right?
NA,
And you live
I
in
got this.
live in the
It's
NA.
like there's nothing holding me back.
Nothing at all. That
My
was a
dare
fun
to
one.
be great scenario. I know.
We
I'm
really
just
got to talk
saying,
about
guys,
Clash.
Like, come on. Like, esports is amazing, but like having one that involves mobile gaming, like, forget
Thank
about
you
it.
for making that happen for us, because we were hoping it was going to pop up.
Achievement
I swear.
unlocked.
All right, so the next voting options were Heroes of the Storm, Madden, Smash Brothers, and Street Fighter, which was at BAM 9. And we're going to talk about Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers.
You ready to go? I'll lead this one off. So first, let's jump into Glitch 3. Glitch 3 is a regional tournament that took place in Baltimore, Maryland on May 6th. Hosted by VG Bootcamp, this year's tournament had several different brackets, all focusing around Smash 4. Singles, doubles, triples, and a mid-tier tournament gave players lots and lots of opportunities to compete, because you could compete in multiple, believe it or not.
Aha. That works.
So, Wadi took home the first place trophy in the singles bracket, showing off his impressive Mewtwo skills. You're going to hear that name again. Dark Shad and, 6WX took home first in the doubles bracket. Mr. E, Mikos, and Wadi, who we heard about before, were granted the triples trophy. I shouldn't even say granted. They won the triples trophy.
I was going to say, if granted means like, oh, we're giving it to you, but you actually earned it with all of your grinding for so long.
So finally, Jeb was the winner in the mid-tier tournament, but we talk about that triples tournament. They should have just granted it to that team. I mean, like, no-brainer, right? Mr. E was the winner of Glitch 2 single bracket, and Wadi took home this year's single bracket. You got to pair it. If you win 2 separate singles brackets,
Don't they
you've got to win in triples. Like, you have a leg up on everybody else.
Math is in your favor.
They are destined to win for sure.
Way to go, Glitch 3. Breaking the mold with tournaments primarily focused on the Wii U, something most events don't do. So we got to talk about Wii U, we got to talk about Clash Royale.
There's another Smash Bros. Tournament that we're going to talk about here. So we
like
talked
we
about
have some
Glitch 3,
more.
and we're going to jump into Royal Flush. Now,
There we go.
Glitch 3 was a regional tournament.
Sure.
Royal Flush is a national tournament, which was held in Atlantic City on May 12th through 14th. And all these destinations, like, I think we do need to change our career approach.
Dude, did you see Hearthstone was over in the Bahamas earlier this year? Like, enough already.
It's like distracting the players. The players aren't going to show up because they're having too much of a good time.
I wouldn't. No,
All
I
right.
totally would.
So there were 4 main tournaments, Melee singles, doubles, and then Smash 4 singles and doubles. Familiar face ended up winning the singles tournament. This would be Mango, taking home just over $3,000. For those that didn't know, Mango is an avid, competitive Melee battler. You would figure so if you're sitting here doing
You got
well
that
on Smash
melee
overall.
going, you might as well make it work for you.
Now, he's signed with Cloud9 ever since 2014, so he's been doing this for a few years. But Mango's victory was massive against Armada, who was considered to be the #1 ranked Melee competitor. Though Armada got second, he did secure a win in the Melee doubles bracket with Android.
Okay, so on the Wii U side, Zero once again took home first place, winning the singles tournament, and with that comes a prize of $2,588. Very specific prize money. Speaking of Zero, he and Nero took down the doubles bracket as well. Now, this is a bit of a deja vu for Zero, as he also won both singles and doubles at DreamHack Austin a month ago.
All right, we're ready to jump into our next segment.
Ooh!
We got to Clash, though.
So actually, you know what? We're just being told that we are once again out of time. This is what happens because we have so much to talk about, and we have so much even more to talk about. So make sure you get your votes in next time. But what we're going to go to now is coming up on tournaments, because that, our friends, is going to be a big deal. Take a look at the upcoming tournaments that we've got happening in the esports scene very soon, and at...
So TeamBeyond.net is the first one. Now,
Thank you.
I will tell you one, and it's almost like I've
this.
got a personal investment in this one.
Almost as if?
Almost. So Combo
Okay.
Breaker is taking place this weekend in Chicago, just outside of Chicago, about an
Okay.
hour outside. Tons
a
of
fighting game
FGC goodness.
Okay.
And I may or may not know this from team knowledge, but I heard that Killer Instinct is going to reveal their 29th character to come to the game at Combo Breaker.
Really?
Big deal, yes?
It's coming in hot right now?
It is coming in hot.
This
I
is
know
very
because I just got the
exciting.
video emailed to me earlier today.
Here
So
we
that'll be a
go.
good one.
It's true. And then we've got, obviously, Killer Instinct, Xbox Arena,
Mm-hmm.
and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. We've got, I'm trying to read our thing, and it's hard
That's
to
Game
see.
Battles. That's MajorLeagueGaming.com.
Game
That's
Battles.
MLG. Game
Ah.
Battles is going on.
Love
What's
it.
funny is, like, it feels so weird because every time that we rehearse this, we talked about the same things over and over, and now we've got new stuff.
I know. Well, and also remember, E-League is happening this weekend, and we've got a bunch of other things going on. So make sure that you keep it right here to Mixer.com. Also, we've got a fabulous little Mixer Works happening on this channel later tonight. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Also, if you want to see any more of your gaming news outside of this lovely thing, we've got This Week in Esports is here. This week on Xbox is also there. If you want to check out MajorNelson.com, it's going to be great. So, guys, thank you so much
Can
for
I get this one
watching
right
the
here?
show.
Like somehow we made it?
Somehow we made it.
I knew you were going to sing. I knew it. I knew it.
Anyway, yes, so I would like to say thank you so much to Ricari.
No, thank you, Kate. You made this happen.
Guys.
We came up with this idea for the show 9 minutes before it aired, believe it or not.
Wow.
And somehow we did it. Thank you guys all so much for joining in with us, and thank you for choosing what we got to talk about, Clash Royale.
Yes, and you know what? Keep it right here each and every week for This Week in Esports. For Ricari Austin, I'm Kate Yeager. Enjoy yourself a Friday.
I was going to say that.